welcome back to another video where I refuse to dress up for you guys once again. But you're gonna get used to it. You're getting what you're getting. Today, I feel very compelled to talk about love. Love. Something that all of us have experienced at one point, whether that be, you know, family love, romantic love, friendships, blase, blase, blah, right? Specifically about this quote I came across recently, and it says, "Life is too short to spend it with people who don't know how to love you in the way you need to be loved." I love the segue from the last video, which was about validation, right? This can go right into that. So validation, like I said in another video, could be in many different aspects of like, validation from your peers, your romantic interests, family, etc., etc. But this one is specifically about validation from romantic interests, in the sense that we tend to sometimes like make ourselves feel worthy. We try to make people who don't like us, and like try to be liked by everyone. If we're not liked, then we're not worthy enough, right? So in regard to loved ones and romantic interests, the first thing I have to talk about is we shouldn't allow anyone to treat us any kind of way. And of course, that's a given, right? We just know logically, hey, no one should treat me any kind of way besides nice and kind, you dig? But in regard to validation and romantic interest, sometimes we might, if we're insecure, we sometimes might allow people to treat us any kind of way. Say if you have romantic interest and you really like someone and they just don't reply to you all the time or rarely talk to you, but make it seem like they're interested in you. If you're insecure, you might hold on to like little things like, well, they talk to me like at least a little bit here and there. Like they told me they like me, like, oh, like they're giving you a little bit, but you're like giving more than they are. Like they'll give you a little bit and you're like, you'll hold on to that and be like, oh, well, like they did this for me like that one time, so like I should stay, you know, it'll get better, and like you're giving benefit of the doubt. No, how they're treating you is how they're treating you. That's what it means. I don't care what they say. Like, look at their actions. Like, what are they doing? If they wanted to, they would, you know, that typical, what is it, the Instagram like romantic gurus and mentors, the if they would, they could, sis. If they wanted to, they would, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's the truth. Leading into my next point, if people like want people who want you, you dig? Like I said before, don't hold on to words, don't hold on to what they've done in the past. Like, you will know when someone wants you. You will know when someone desires and appreciates and wants to know you and get to know you, you know. And don't chase just because, like, don't feel the need to double text, triple text, like try to get their attention because we feel the need to get their attention, because that'll make us feel like, oh, if I make them like me, then I'm just I'm the one that can make that bad boy want me, you know. Let's lose that like dystopian main character female character mentality of like, well, like I'm the different one, I'm different, like I'm different. No, want people who want you. If someone wants you, want them, you dig? Simple. You can't control the actions of others and how they treat you. Sometimes we feel like, oh, like I shouldn't have said that, like I may have offended them, or I shouldn't have. If you didn't do anything, then you just, there's no, like 90% of the time we don't do things and then like we assume other people react. Like 90% of the time we believe that we've done something to offend someone. If they start acting different or something, we'll try to like fix it so they can go back to that place where we felt safe with them, where we felt like, okay, they like me here, but like I did this so they didn't like me, so let me adjust myself. No, we can't control what others do, what others want. Like, we can't. And sometimes we get really insecure, really just like in a state of trying to like get their validation, and it just makes us feel stir crazy. We feel hyper aware of their feelings and what they need, what they potentially want, like trying to like morph yourself into something they would desire. Nah. Think of it this way, right? Like a job. I told this to a few people before in my life, but it's really something that's humbled me when I get into like these states of like mania. So like, say if someone like offered, like you're applying for a job and they're like, okay, we offer you this much. You're like, cool, but like, I prefer a little higher salary. I prefer this much. And then they're like, well, no, sorry, like this is all I can offer you. And you're like, okay, that's cool. Like, you're gonna get another job, right? But in regard to relationships, if a man's like, I'm gonna treat you like this, and you're like, I'd rather be treated like this. They're like, no, like, that's all I can offer you. But sometimes we're like, wait, why are you offering only that? You should offer more. Blah, blah, blah. You should like give me more. I deserve more. But you're like, this is the guy's like, this is all I could offer. Take it or leave it, right? So like in regard to the job scenario with relationships, it's like we can kind of distance our emotions a little bit in those scenarios and like really think about it. Like, wait, like people are treating us this way only because that's the only way they're capable of treating us. Not because we're worth less than other girls or people to be treated more. Like they're treating that way and acting that way because that's all they have to offer. Nothing to do with you. That's just the salary they offer, babes. But you want this, and then we have to go find someone who offers that. Not like trying to get that 40K to become 80K, you dig? But what you can control is if you stay in that scenario, like I said. Like, we can't just be focusing on that 40K being a 40K, you dig? Like, we want that 40K to become so much more. There's so much potential to increase, but why stay with the 40K and get annoyed at the 40K for now being 80K? You know what I'm saying? If that person's only treating you the way that they're treating you and you want something else, it has nothing to do with who you are, what you're worth, just anything about you, how that 40K is acting, you dig? All it means is that's all they have to offer, and they just can't give anything else. As much as you want to wish and act differently to try to change them into turning them into an 80K, why can't you just go get an 80K? I love hearing that. And that leads to my last point of like, don't try to convince others of your worth. Like, it doesn't make sense, like I said, to ask a 40K to treat you like an 80K would, or even higher. Like, seriously. Like, we shouldn't try to convince others of our worth, because that just shows how much we craved validation from external sources as we grew up. We felt the best when we were praised, complimented, and just for our successes, our looks, or just all of that. So growing up into our relationships, we feel the best. Of course, everyone can feel good when you're just being drowned in compliments by someone you like. That's like awesome, but it's when we depend on it. Say if we think that person's switching up one day, their tone's a little different. They're like, oh my God. Like our body's like, oh my God, our validation, our source of validation is like being jeopardized. Like, I don't know my worth anymore. Like, oh my God, what's happening? Like, we need to try to develop like and become our own source of validation, like I mentioned in my last video. But it's something we really have to like be mindful of in relationships, and we can see and feel out how insecure we are based off of like how we interact with other people, specifically our romantic interests, and like how much we like give ourselves in those relationships, and like how much we give and take, and all these things. So like I said, in the order, don't allow people to treat you any kind of way, because ew. Want people who want you, because that makes sense. No, we don't chase. I'd rather cut my arm off than chase a man. Can't control the actions of others and how they treat you, but you can choose a higher paying salary or a better man. What you can control is if you stay or not. I recommend not staying. If you're not feeling good, get out. And then don't try to convince others of your worth, because ultimately, even if we can't see sometimes because of insecurities, Isabel, your worth has nothing to do with other people, because being my own individual self and how I treat other people, I just know whatever I do towards them has nothing to do with what they're worth in this world. Like, I treat people in regard to how I feel about myself or how I'm feeling personally in that moment, not because, oh, they're not worth it, so I'm gonna treat them like this. Like, no one thinks like that. That's just weird. So those are just some things, some tips, some talking points, a rant. Just choosing our relationships wisely, and like looking out for signs and quote unquote red flags, or just things that we need to look out for when pursuing people and letting people pursue us, and just choosing the right people to love us in the way we need to be loved. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate your time. Love y'all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.